If you have been stuck in the land of custom proposals and not seeing enough of them turn into clients, today is for you. You are going to get to hear directly from Lauren, who went from knowing she did creative for nonprofits to packaging her work into a clear offer, and how that shift has helped her sign clients on the spot without proposals and without the constant stress. So if you've ever wondered what it could look like to stop custom proposals and start talking about your services in a way that feels clear, confident, and easy to say yes to, today's conversation is going to show you exactly why it can be so powerful to package your process. Let's do this. Welcome to the Establish Yourself podcast, the show that helps coaches and consultants get clear on how to talk about what you do, simplify your offers, and have more fun in your business and beyond. I'm Annie Franceschi, brand strategist, author, former Disney storyteller, and forever Muppet fan. I'm here to help you clarify your message, package your expertise, and streamline your systems to grow a business you actually enjoy. If you're ready for less confusion and more magic, it's time to establish yourself. I'm really glad you're here. I'm bringing back a special interview that I did in the fall. You get to be a fly on the wall as I interview Lauren Atherton of Heart Spark Design. Lauren talks about how she went from doing custom proposals and RFPs to creating a clear package, being able to talk about what she does with confidence and getting clients to say yes on the spot. So if you've ever thought, I'm good at what I do, but I don't know how to present it in a way that makes it make sense, that makes it feel clear and valuable and easy for people to buy, I know you're going to love today's episode. And I do want to mention that applications are now open for our next cohort of Package Your Process Accelerator. The exact program that Lauren did with me that she'll talk a little bit about, but that's part of why I wanted to bring back our conversation today. So you can hear not just from me, but from her, from someone who really went through it, of what can happen when you stop winging how you talk about what you do and start packaging your process with clarity and confidence. All right, let's jump right in and learn from Lauren what it is meant to move from just offering services to offering a package that makes her feel confident, that makes it easy to say yes to, and makes it simpler to really own her value. I would love for you to share how you were feeling right before you came and did Package Your Process Accelerator.
We're a branding studio for nonprofits. We do logo design, marketing templates, graphic design, and website design. So last year, I decided I really want to invest in having services, like having a package, which is funny. I found Package Your Process and I was like, how perfect is that named? And last year, I was doing a lot of custom proposals, RFPs, and I was just like, if I have to spend another Friday afternoon working on a proposal, and like my favorite projects that I would work on with clients were small nonprofits. I knew 1, 2, 3, these are the steps that we do. So I was like, okay, I think there's probably a way to make this easier on myself. There's got to be a better way to do this. And I was just kind of stuck. And that's when my friend Veronica was like, you should check out Annie Franceschi's work. And so I looked on your website and I was like totally fangirling. Just, oh my gosh, I saw you were offering Package Your Process coming up. I was, okay, I gotta join this thing.
And what was it about me or about Package Your Process that felt like this was the right move at the right time for you?
Being by myself, running a business on my own, and then feeling, okay, I know I have something here, but like, how do I translate that into something that a client wants? And I could see you were doing that perfectly on your website. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be so cool. And there was like clear, this is what we're going to do week 1, week 2, week 3. And so I was just like, okay, if I'm going to do this, then there's a plan. There's a clear plan for me to do. She's done this before, and obviously she can do this very well. And so that sold me. I was like, okay, cool. I'm signed up.
I love that. And, we went through this experience where we do this 5-week program and you go through 4 modules. And the first one's about positioning yourself as an expert. The second one is about making your service very visual. The third one is all about how do you leverage that tool and use it in your networking and your speaking. And the fourth one is all about selling it without sleaze and marketing it with authenticity, sort of all my workflows on how to do that. So anyone going to this program, literally week one, can show up and not be clear on how to talk about what they do and not have a package service. And by week five, they're at the referral party with their pitch and their one pager, and they can confidently walk through a branded service. And everyone gets to leave that experience with a lead, a connection, a referral, an opportunity. So for you and where you were, having gone through that process where you would go through the modules and come ask me questions every week and get hot seats and feedback, what were the most valuable parts of that process for you?
I have to say the pitch party, the referral party was so cool, and I got to invite friends and, like, even they were like, "This is so freaking smart," and I was like, "It is so freaking smart." I was like, "Annie is so freaking smart." So what really stood out, one was like the brand chips. I was like, okay, this is a great way to structure this offer and only talk about this offer, not all the other things that I could do. And your live feedback was so helpful, just working through it together and then also hearing other people get feedback and how are they talking about it and what words are they using and like creating that one pager as well. I mean, that was like mind blowing to me how simple that was, but how effective it's been since the program.
Yeah, so in Package Your Process, I teach this framework that I've used for the better part of a decade where I put my offer on one page, on one PDF. I call it an offer one pager. And that has allowed me to sell more than $600,000 in services without sales pages. I remember you came in and you, as a designer, were nailing the design and were struggling with what to name it. Your business is called Heart Spark Design, and you had a name that was the brand Glow Up.
Yep. Yeah, glow up actually was something that a couple clients have said to me as, "Oh, I'm ready for my glow up," or "Thanks for my glow up." And so I was like, "Oh, that's perfect." But it was taken, and so we had to rethink that, but also it was kind of cool to come back and be like, "Okay, I think I've got another option, the level up." Like, what about like everyone wants to level up and you're leveling up your brand. So that stuck and that's what I ended up launching.
Right, and so you had this good name, and hey, let's double check that that's not trademarked. And sure enough, there was conflicts of interest.
The human filter too, right? Of like, if we've got 8 people around that are like, that's not super clear to me," that's way more helpful than ChatGPT just agreeing or like pumping out more ideas. And so I feel like that was a really helpful process,
Yeah,
yeah.
and in this circumstance, we are coming out of you having done package your process and coming into the table where you knew what you were doing, but it didn't quite have a name. It didn't have that one pager. You come out of the experience in the referral party and you have the brand level up. Catch us up on what has happened. We're coming up on a year since we had this time together, and I'd love to hear, what did this change for you and what's changing in your business?
Well, you know, I've emailed you throughout the year like, "Andy, it worked! Oh my word, it worked." In November, I soft launched my new service, the brand Level Up. Then in January, I had an event that I spoke at about two nonprofits, and I was like, I'm going to talk about logo design because that's step one of this service. And got 10 leads out of that event. 2 weeks later, I had a meeting with a client. I was like, okay, I'm going to be brave and I'm going to talk about the service if it's a good fit for them. And it was. Literally on the call, the client's like, this sounds great. This is within our budget. Perfect. I'm going to show my executive director tomorrow. And then we had a contract signed by the end of the week. And that's happened 4 more times this year. So it has just been incredible to see going from being stressed about proposals and do I really need to do RFPs and like, ugh, this is a part of business I don't like, to now having a one pager that like can sell the service for me. And it's resulted in $30,000 in business just from that one service. And so that's where I've just seen this transformation that I'm like, well, if it's easier on me, it's easier on my clients, and it's easier all around to make a decision and move forward and not have to have a proposal and then wait for the answer and back and forth and back and forth. So it's just, yeah, it's been fantastic. So thank you.
You're so welcome.
Just have to say thank you because it's just like, it's working. I'm like, it's working.
Thank you so much for sharing that. You having gone through Package Your Process as a participant, you get to experience it from a vantage point I will never be a part of. Like, I will never be a student of my own program. Having gone through that experience, do you feel like there's anything that I or the program could have done better to give you a better experience or better results?
I feel like you had it really mapped out and paced out really well. I will say at the end when you're starting to put the pieces together and okay, time to launch. And that's scary. So I really appreciated that referral party because it was okay, this is just a way to start talking about it, get it out there, and just practice. So that was super helpful. But I will say I forgot. You gave me a whole library of templates, and now I need to go back and revisit them to relaunch. But you have it all there. It's just a matter of when everything is coming together, then it's okay. This is a lot to remember.
Yes, I hear that. And thank you for taking me up on that question. And those of you who are listening in today, that is the most vulnerable question, right? That we don't want to ask, but it's actually one of the most valuable. And so, Lauren, thank you. I didn't know what you were going to say. And I appreciate that there was so much positive wrapped in that. But obviously, anything can come out of that question. But one of the ideas you just gave me is building in sort of an accountability session that if you pitched at the party, if you got all the way to the end, that you earn a ticket to like an accountability session maybe a month later where I specifically point out, here are the templates, let's prioritize some, because implementation is hard. And that's exactly why in Package Your Process, I added the referral party at the end. I've been in enough courses, I know you have, where it's like you learn all this stuff, but there's no opportunity to practice it. And so that's the most fun of it, right? Is not just that you have this accountability to present, but then you also have this really wonderful community moment where everyone's cheering you on and thinking who in their network they can connect you to. So I love that. And then, your answer gave me some thoughts as to how can I continue to add more of that implementation step that everybody struggles with. You're not the first person to tell me that. You won't be the last person to tell me that, but it does spark ideas. So thank you for being transparent and sharing that with me. You've now gone through Package Your Process Accelerator. You experience it in your own words, in your own way. If somebody walked up to you tomorrow and was like, hey, what's this thing? What's that? How do you describe it?
What I explain to people is I had all of these services and clients who would come to me saying, I need a website, I need a logo. And now instead of saying yes and custom proposaling it, I now have a formal process. This is what I do and why I do it. So I recommend you all the time to other consultants because I loved this program so much and I think you are just brilliant. And I'm not just saying that, like I really appreciate how much you push back and also are fully honest and transparent about why something's working and not working and like how to think about something differently. And so I know this has been a weird year for consultants and I'm not discounting that at all, but it's been one of my best years because I've really distilled down what I do into a process. You made it so easy to just go, what service do you want to do? Just take one slice of your business and really simplify it and make it easy for someone to follow and then be able to explain to somebody else. For me, it's been a game changer just to take what I already was doing, but put it in a format that people could understand and be able to then explain to their people, because that's how nonprofits work. There's a lot of other people to talk to. Anytime I'm talking with someone, I'm like, do you know how to clearly talk about what you do? Do you have set services or processes? If you don't, this might help, like move the needle and get some more sales because it's easy on both ends.
Lauren, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Your business is really similar to mine, right? And you came to me and you recognized that I was selling done for you branding. You do done for you branding for nonprofits. So, from your experience, how universal do you think package or process is or isn't to a business that isn't as close to mine and what I do?
This would be applicable for even small teams. I think going through this would be really helpful. Or if somebody else is also an entrepreneur, like I said, I talked to a lot of other nonprofit consultants and other consultants who are running the show by themselves. And even though we both do branding, like it's so, I think you've said this before, like it's so hard to read the label from inside the bottle. And we all have services that we're offering and things that we do. And if you're not able to talk about that clearly or clearly go, the steps are one, two, three, that's the basics, right? Like, as you're communicating with other people, you gotta be able to answer that question. And so I feel like it would be helpful for anyone to go through this and just really nail down what are the main benefits to someone.
Thank you so much. Every time I ask that question, it's so empowering and helpful because the best words are the words you naturally pick, not the words I'm going to tell you to use. So I will be, after this episode is out in the world, I will be going through this the next time I talk about package or process with the expert, which is my one-to-one version of this, my private version of it, and the 5-week version as well, because I think there's so much of what you shared that's organic to your experience. I would never know to use some of these words that you just used with me, but I better believe I'm going to go back through this transcript and learn from that. Because if you want to get more amazing clients, like I would certainly count you as an amazing client who I've loved working with and I love seeing thrive under these processes. If you want more Laurens in your world, you got to study Lauren. You got to get to know them. You got to have these conversations. So thank you for being willing to share all of that with us. The last question I typically ask is there anything that I didn't ask you that you wanted to share with me?
We covered a lot of it. I will say, anytime we talk or I hear your podcast, it just reminds me I need to do business my way, not be chasing all the other shiny objects out there. Some of the phrases that you use always stuck with me, like sell without sleaze. I always loved that because, yeah, anytime I tried to launch something or do something, I just feel sleazy. Like I want to be encouraging and get something people are excited about or phrases they're already using. And I feel like I wouldn't have been able to unlock that by myself. So thank you. Yeah, I really appreciate this process and this system that you've created.
Gosh, it's been a dream, and I can't thank you enough for coming on the show. But I want to thank everybody for listening in on this episode. And if what Lauren shared is hitting home for you, applications are now open for Package Your Process Accelerator. This is my intimate 5-week group experience designed to help you go from unclear on how to talk about what you do and offer to confidently presenting a clear, compelling package your ideal clients will actually say yes to. And one of my favorite parts is that by the end, at our built in referral party, just like Lauren shared, you don't just have more clarity, you actually get a chance to share your services live and leave with at least one potential lead, referral, or connection from all of our collective networks. This next cohort runs May 6th through June 3rd. It is free to apply. It takes about 3 minutes, and I am filling spots on a rolling basis until our small group is full. So if you are at all curious, be sure to head on over to packageyourprocess.com where you can learn more and apply now. This may be the only time I teach it this year, so if you are curious, be sure to head over there soon. I'll put the link in the show notes. And if you reach out and the group experience isn't the right fit for you, I'll tell you that too, and I can help you explore the private version. I hope you enjoyed listening today, and thanks again to Lauren for sharing so generously. Lauren, I would like to invite you to do the moment of magic. Comes at the very end of every Establish Yourself episode, and it is just a moment of fun.
Well, I'll share my favorite Muppet, Sam the Eagle, in Christmas Carol, where they say, "It's the American way," and then they whisper in his ear, and he's like, "It's the British way."
They just closed Muppet Vision 3D. They ask, Sam, how's the finale coming? And he's like, it's called A Salute to All Nations, but mostly America.